Judge!
Hello, and welcome to the Cinema Judge. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, to all my regulars, thanks for showing up again and again, every episode. But if you're new to the show, let me briefly tell you what the show's about. We love movies. We like to share movies with you. We're not here to yell about Hollywood, complain about this actor or whoever or whatever. Leave that to the professionals. I just like to share movies with you. I'm the judge. You're the jury. I just put stuff together to make one giant infomercial. And I go, here's the evidence. You make up your own mind. Having somebody else tell you never to see a movie, that's ridiculous. Consider this like a movie oasis. A place where you can get away from the noise. Because there's so much noise out there. Sometimes we just need a place to sit down and just escape. And just learn about a movie. And that's what we do. Because any movie is somebody's favorite movie. Let's be honest. We all want to spend our hard-earned money wisely. Because we all want the same thing. An enjoyable movie experience. In Approaching the Bench today, we have the romantic comedy starring Julia Roberts and George Clooney. It's called Ticket to Paradise. Now let me briefly tell you about this movie. A divorced couple teams up and travels to Bali to stop their daughter from making the same mistake they think they made 25 years ago. So they're going to her wedding. She's having she met this guy, to say a few months ago. Off the top of my head, I forget. But she's going to get married, on the spot. And they're like, whoa, unacceptable. And obviously these two are divorced. And there's all this banter between them. But there's no better two people to play this part as a divorced couple than Clooney and Roberts. What a team. These guys are so much fun together. And you're going to hear that later on in the show here. When they're doing interviews together, they're just off the chart. Just so much fun. But here's a trailer for Ticket to Paradise.
I'm sorry. I think your things are in my seat.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, come on.
You've got to be kidding me.
Excuse me, ma'am. I need to sit somewhere else. We used to be married.
Worst 19 years of my life.
We were only married for 5.
I'm counting the recovery.
In 4 days' time.
Our daughter's going to marry a guy she just met in Bali, millions of miles from home.
I just really want to kiss you. It's like I looked up for the first time and realized everything I ever wanted was right in front of me.
She's throwing her career away.
Just like her mother did. So I'm the only one who can stop her. She doesn't listen to him.
Oh, champagne.
Oh, 2, please.
Just leave the bottle. Thank you.
I won't let her throw her life away. We need to trick her into dumping him. As much as this will pain us both, we have to call a truce to make this work.
You have to be in lockstep.
Hey! Did you make a pact to not murder each other until you murder me first?
We are here for you, my love.
Yes, we're in lockstep.
Yes.
Promise, no mean comments.
Pretty sure you don't win anything for eating the whole pig.
No arguing.
Get off.
No passive aggression.
What about aggressive aggression? Try to keep the snoring down.
I have a nasal strip.
It's a mystery you're still alone.
Mom, Dad, this is G'day.
Como se paseas tú, G'day?
You learned that to make me look bad.
You don't need my help there.
Are you sure they're not sharks?
Come on, don't be a chicken.
You might be working with the sharks.
Come on.
Can't believe I got bit by a dolphin.
When I do that,
with you?
He said pressure. He said
not
Georgia.
So what's the plan?
I say we steal the rings.
How do they look?
Disappointed. Do you think we're wrong?
You're not wrong.
Who are we to say that Lily doesn't know what's best for herself?
Oh my God. I cannot believe you.
What are you talking about?
She found the rings.
Where?
In Mom's bag.
I knew it.
What?
You clean up pretty good.
Here you go.
It's not for the faint of heart.
This is not his first rodeo.
Okay, let's go.
Can we get something a little more age appropriate for these two?
Here we go. Which one?
There's only one.
I see 2. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Dad, please stop doing that. Oh my God. I'm praying for an asteroid.
Now, up first, we're going to have an interview. And they're being interviewed on set. And it's going to be George Clooney and Julia Roberts. And just in this little bit of an interview, you just get to feel their energy together. It's just so natural and fluid. It's just a hoot. But then after that, and well, I should say, in the interview, they talk about why they took the role, so they could give each other a hard time and all kind of fun stuff. And it's just fun what they say in the interview. But then right after that, we're going to hear from the director. And the director talks about when he first started working on this idea and you want to pitch it to an actor, but there's always that fear of telling that other actor, well, this is who we want to do it. But in case they don't do it, then it causes issues. But with this one, I mean, they both just said, hey, if you do it, I'll do it. But it's really kind of cool to hear the whole story behind when you start creating a project and then pitching it to the people who are going to play it. You're like, oh man, what are they going to think? So that's what we're going to hear first. Clooney and Roberts, and then the director.
We just thought it was fun. It was fun because, we get to be rotten to each other, which is funny.
And to be the age that we are.
Yeah.
And to have
Wait a minute.
a clever story written for us.
Older folk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not older folk, but like we don't have the same love issues that 20-somethings and 30-somethings have.
No.
So to have, really the whole story is about that George is still in love with me. He's never gotten over me. He never will. And I have a cute French boyfriend.
That's basically the story.
I think that's what's going to be on the poster.
That is the poster.
Yeah.
Just me behind there going like this.
When we pitched it to the studio, I said it should feel like the sequel to a movie that you'd never seen or that was never made. It should be a couple that we've already recognized as a couple. And so it was always George and Julia. And literally in the first draft, the two characters were called Julius and Georgia, because it seemed naff to actually call them George and Julia, so we just flipped their names. And actually her name in the movie is still Georgia Cotton, which is a hangover from that. But yeah, that's the extent to which it was written for them. And then when we'd done it, I sent them both the thing, and you should never talk about the other actor in case you don't get the other actor. Do you know what I mean? But I wrote to each of them going, this is for you and the other one, because it was just very clear to me that it barely existed if it wasn't them. I had no plan B, basically, and thankfully they said yes.
I mean, that takes a lot of big swing there, a lot of guts. You don't have a plan B. What if they say no? Again, I realize it's Hollywood. They could find somebody else. But to match these two's energy, just the whole cadence they have with each other, it can be manufactured with other people. But with them, it's just that natural, fluid flow. And it's just so cool that they both agree to do it. Because let's be completely honest. They're both at the stage of their lives, their careers. They don't need to do a movie. They don't have to get publicity. They've far exceeded ever having to work again. They've solidified their spot in Hollywood forever. I mean, when you say these two names, they're going to be for many years to be remembered. And it's good to see that there's still out there, decade after decade, new people creating that icon level of actresses. Because sometimes you start wondering, oh man, have they all gone? Are those days, forever, no more? But with these two, they are the big swing, the big tickets, and they take these kind of movies just to have fun. And that's what's so cool, and it shows on screen. Now, here's the deal. Coming up next, we're going to have a couple featurettes back to back. But I want to warn you about something. Well, not warn you about something, but just give you a heads up. In these featurettes, they have interviews, clips on the set footage, red carpet stuff, and the studios put it together and they make one little piece kind of talking about what they wanted to cover in this little featurette. In these featurettes, they're just kind of talking about Julia Roberts and George Clooney's relationship and just kind of showing you how much fun they're having on set, while still telling the story about what's going on in the movie. Longer story shorter, that if you do want to watch the TV version of this, all the stuff you hear in the background, you'll be able to see. At the end of the show, I'm going to give you that website. So in case you want to see what's happening in these little featurettes, it'll be a little bit more clear that way. And sometimes in these featurettes, they take stuff from the long interviews that you might have already heard, and they cut them up in little snippets. So you might think, why is he so lazy? I just heard him say that. It's not me being utterly lazy. It's just that in that featurette, they take interviews that are big, cut them in, and voila. So there might be some redundancy in some of these featurettes. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. So coming up next is a couple featurettes just talking with George and Julia.
We just thought it was fun because we get to be rotten to each other, which is funny.
You haven't had a date since Lily was in braces.
At least when I do date, it's age appropriate.
But once you could back me up.
I could, but then I'd be wrong too. I just got bit by a fly.
Hang on, I got He's a killer, this thing.
Come on, don't be a chicken.
So you chicken.
Can't believe I got bit by a dolphin.
Did you get it on camera? George Clooney.
Yeah.
Can we get something a little more age appropriate for these two?
Oh, no, no. Dad, stop! Oh my god.
Well, this is getting weird.
What did you find most entertaining about this script?
Well,
The nude scenes.
oh, come on.
You've got to be kidding me.
I need to sit somewhere else. We used to be married. He's the only one nude in the movie, so...
It's a comedy,
yeah.
right?
Champagne.
Oh, two, please.
Just leave the bottle. Thank you.
To be the age that we are and to have
Wait a minute.
a clever story written for us.
Older folk.
Yeah. We both
Yeah,
were
we
like,
thought we should do it.
let's go.
Here you go. It's not for the faint of heart.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh my God. We were so drunk.
I'm naked.
What did we do?
No, we didn't do anything.
There's not enough alcohol in the world.
See what I'm saying? You can just feel that energy. Now, coming up next, we're going to have an interview from the red carpet with Roberts and Clooney. And they first start off joking about who their characters are, and then they just kind of talk briefly about the movie. But then we're going to go right into a scene. And in this scene, both those characters meet each other on the plane. And it's just kind of fun. You'll see what I'm saying. But what I really would like to see, and they don't do this much anymore, but at least, they used to do it on DVDs when you get the special edition or whatever. I would love to see the outtakes on this movie, because it is just littered with outtakes of them cracking up. And I remember they used to do that sometimes in like the Cannonball Run and those kind of movies. They used to play all the bleeps and cuts and mistakes at the end while the credits roll. I miss that. I know now it's all about additional scenes and all that other jazz. But I miss the days of when the credits roll, they play all the bloopers. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on a tangent there. But so here, first of all, you'll hear from Roberts and Clooney at the red carpet, and then we're going to go right into a scene where they meet on a plane.
I play a Latin lover.
No?
I play a French school teacher.
It's a very different film than I actually thought we were making. It's weird. And we're just old ex-husband and ex-wife who, are mad at each other.
We can't give a straight answer to anything.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. I think your things are in my seat.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, come on.
You've got to be kidding me.
You speak English.
Oh, you're still doing the Italian tourist bit. Excuse me, ma'am. I need to sit somewhere else.
I'm sorry, it's a full flight.
We used to be married.
It's the worst 19 years of my life.
We were only married for 5.
I'm counting the recovery.
I can't sit there.
There's nothing I can do.
Well,
I'll swap with you, dear. Just remember, in case we go down.
Oh.
You owe me one.
I told you I was going to go get her.
In 4 days' time.
Our daughter's going to marry a guy she just met millions of miles from home.
Excuse me, did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours?
Champagne.
Oh, 2, please.
Just leave the bottle. Thank you.
We're going to hear next from the producer, Tim Bevan, and he's going to talk about the chemistry between these two, and that they know what they're doing. They've made these kind of movies before, but that's what they needed to make everything work out well. But then right after that, we're going to have an interview from the red carpet with Clooney and Roberts, just, talking about working together and how much they enjoy it. But it's kind of fun when you listen to, at first, Julia Roberts says, I really love George and all this, and giving him a compliment. But then he just pretty much says, just wait for it. Here it comes a dig. But it's just that little moment, that little discussion. It just makes it so fun to listen to those two just banter. And then we're going to go right into a scene. Now, in this scene, they're on a boat going to the island. And they're sitting there going, we need to make a plan. We need to make this not happen. So Julia Roberts' character explains to George's character, this is what we need to do, and all that stuff. And he pretty much says the same thing, but just a little different. But it's a little scene where he showed that they are communicating the same way, but still there's this little barrier between them that causes this, tension. That's coming up next.
We wanted the film to have the classic tropes of a romantic comedy, of which we've made quite a few in our time, and I think that the critical thing there is to make sure that the various combinations of people who you want to fall in love with one another have good chemistry together. And so actually we knew that George and Julia did, and we knew that they would both be able to be antagonistic and funny and all of the rest of it between the two of them, because we'd seen it on screen before and we'd seen it, in public before.
I love George. I just love him. I love everything about him. I think he's just a first-class human being, and
Just wait for it. It's coming.
No,
it's coming.
No.
It's coming.
No.
Now we're really, really good friends, and it's fun to be able to work together.
Let's talk game plan. As much as this will pain us both, we have to call a truce to make this work.
Yes, we have to be in lockstep.
No meanness.
Arguing.
We speak as one.
Exactly right.
When do we start?
Right after we see Lily. Tell her the wedding is off. Bring her home.
Well, whenever we say don't to Lily, she just hears do. I say we go in 100% there for her in all ways. Just supportive and loving, and that's how we trick her into dumping Mr. Seaweed.
It's interesting. Now, I'm thinking about a Trojan horse sort of thing. We make her think we're okay with the wedding, and then once we're in, we get her to end it herself.
That's literally what I just said.
I don't remember anything about a Trojan horse.
Like I said earlier, give us the outtakes. That's what we need on the DVD release. Give it up, people. Hear my words, outtakes. But in the meantime, we have another featurette for you. Now, in this featurette, you can hear from Roberts and Clooney talking about the young co-stars that are sharing the screen with them. It's just really fun to hear somebody on their caliber talking about basically the up-and-comers, the future of Hollywood.
For our young co-stars, I just really want to kiss you. Let's start with Kaitlyn.
Very fun to work with.
A talented singer.
By the way, we've offered to sing for her.
And she's begged us not to.
She's told us not to.
This is G'day. Almost fastias tu, G'day.
You learned that to make me look bad.
You don't need my help there. And Max.
Yeah, Max, he's a really gifted actor.
Yeah. Lucas, I will also say.
Love Lucas, who's too tall and too handsome. There she is.
Paul.
You gotta be kidding me.
Looks like someone upgraded.
And little Billie Lord, who I've known since she was born.
Me too.
Can we get something a little more age appropriate for these two?
Here we go. Which one?
There's only one.
I see two. Oh, yeah.
Now, speaking of the young kids in this movie, well, I shouldn't say kids, but young people, we're going to have some interviews for you. First of all, we're going to hear from Kaitlyn Dever, who plays Lily, and then we're going to hear from Billie Lord, who plays Ren. And those are just really cool interviews. But then right after that, we're going to go to one of those featurettes. And in that featurette, it is those two, they show them like on set or just, having fun together. And they talk about their relationship and just being friends. So first interviews, then featurette.
I think Billie is just like the most perfect in every way. I think she is such a talented and funny person, and she was just immediately the best Ren there was. And I was also really looking forward to, because she and I are so close in real life, I was really looking forward to actually having a friend play my friend in the movie. So that was really fun. And we traveled out to Australia together, and we hung out like 24/7. We were so happy to be making the movie together. It was really a lot of fun.
Ren is Lily's best friend, and I like to call her a wild ride of a character. She really goes with the flow of everything and is just so excited that Lily is following her heart. And she was just so much fun to play. I really got to improv and mess around. And my motto on the movie was more is more, because it always is. I think I silent screamed. I think I was like, wait, are we sure we're sending this email to the right person? And they were like, yes, it's for you. And I was like, wait, are we sure it's me? Are you sure? You didn't spell something wrong. This is not right. It was just so exciting and insane and surreal, and then getting to work with them was even better than the email was, and the email was insane. Kaitlyn is one of my closest friends in real life, so to get to play her best friend on screen is just an absolute dream. I am obsessed with her, and we got even closer on this movie. I'm obsessed with her family, I'm obsessed with her, I'm obsessed with her dog. I just love everything about that girl. She is heavenly. Well, they should expect some beautiful scenery, some beautiful people. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about those movie stars and Kaitlyn Dever, and just a really good time. It's really escapist and fun and something we really have needed for a while and don't get that often.
Nothing could be better than shooting Ticket to Paradise in literal paradise.
Action!
It's like I looked up for the first time and realized everything I ever wanted was right in front of me. The great thing about shooting a movie with your friend is that you always have a friend.
You've always got a friend.
And a buddy.
And a buddy.
It's harder to keep a straight face if you're friends.
Here we go.
Can we get something a little more age appropriate for these two?
Oh, no. Dad, stop! Oh my God. I'm praying for an asteroid.
We're going to hear a little bit more from Billie Lord. She's going to talk about her character's relationship with her best friend. She's about to talk about working on this movie, about being able just cracking up on the set, having to leave a scene because it's so funny, and just so many other things. I just love hearing interviews like this, talking about people, the enthusiasm about making a movie. It's not always just about, I can understand how it could get old hat, just like you and me. We all go to our jobs, and a lot of times it just becomes mundane over and over again. And I'm sure it's even more so with actors out there. There's so much downtime and all this other stuff. But it's really kind of cool just to hear somebody talking about making a movie and just being enthused, so happy about doing it. So here's Billie Lord giving us some interviews.
Ticket to Paradise is about me and my best friend, Lily. We graduate law school, and then we go on a wild trip to Bali, and Lily meets this stunning man played by Maxime Bouttier, who we love so much, and she falls in love with him and decides to drop the whole law school thing and move to Bali and do the whole love thing, which good for her. And then her parents come, George and Julia, best parents in the world, come to try to break up the marriage, because who wants their kid getting married and moving to Bali when they just got a law degree? Most parents probably wouldn't, but if my son wants to do that, that's fine. That was terrible. But yeah, and so George and Julia come and they try to break up the marriage, and then some other stuff happens that you guys are gonna have to wait to see the movie to find out about. Lily's parents are divorced, like many of our parents, and they absolutely hate each other. They do not want to do anything together. In the beginning of the movie, they have to come to graduation together, and they absolutely hate it so much, but it makes for a really good movie, so it's okay. And then the only reason they ever actually speak in a kind way is because they want to stop their daughter from marrying someone because they just want her to be a lawyer. What really stood out to me was where it was set. Bali is one of the most beautiful places in the world. I've never been, but I've seen a lot of pictures. And I've never seen a rom-com set in such a picturesque setting. And I was like, whoa, I get to go to Bali? This is not a bad job. But that's what stood apart, it made it different. And just how snarky it is and how snarky George and Julia get to be with each other. I feel like rom-coms are usually pretty on the nose, but this has a lot of sarcasm and cynicism, and that's what makes it really funny. And that's my favorite tone of life. Lucas Bravo is the funniest man on the planet. I mean, he is absolutely him in so many of these scenes. I mean, you'll see, he is just brilliant and just so funny. I think we all had a really hard time a lot of the time. There's this one hospital scene where he started singing at the end and I had to run out of the room because it's just impossible not to laugh around Lucas. To put it lightly, we have been going through a lot as a culture, as a society in the last 2 or 3 years. And I don't want to watch heavy stuff. I want to watch light, crispy, airy, fun, funny movies. And that's what this is. And you got to see it in a theater because the waves won't look as big on your little iPad or little iPhone. Don't do that. It's so gorgeous, these locations. It's like an ad or postcard for Australia. It's gonna make you wanna go. And it's not that long of a flight, you should go. This is actually turning into an ad for Australia. But that's why you have to go see it in a theater, because these beaches and the oceans and these people, you want to see George and Julia on a big screen. They're big screen movie stars. Gotta see them.
Now, we've been hearing a lot about chemistry, especially between Roberts and Clooney. But up next, we're going to hear from the producer. They knew about them two, but they didn't really know what's going to happen with the younger leads, because they only did their auditions and everything via Skype or Zoom or whatever they did it through. They didn't really know how they would gel when they get to the set. So they were really happy. I mean, they knew Kaitlyn was very talented already, but the actor Max, they just didn't know for sure. So first of all, we're going to hear from the producer talking about that whole dilemma. And then we're going to go right into Max talking about just, being part of this movie.
That was less so with Kaitlyn and Max, and it was a very difficult process to make because we could never see them in a room together because of COVID. So we saw them together on Zooms and all the rest of it, and it felt like it was going to work, but until we were actually on the set, we didn't 100% know that it was going to work. But they're both very, very skilled actors, and Kaitlyn in particular is an absolutely brilliant young actress, and so it was a pretty safe bet that we would be able to make that work.
Paul called me that day. He was like, hey Max, so I want to be the first one to tell you got the part. I was like, oh wow, I didn't, but I was just happy. I was completely, I called everyone, all my friends in Bali, because I did grow up in Bali, and the fact that I was gonna do a movie about Bali, kind of reminded me of my roots, because I do live in Jakarta now, which is not in Bali, so it was a very important moment, and yeah, it was great.
We're going to hear next from Kaitlyn Dever, who plays Lily, the daughter of George and Julia. And she's just going to talk about working with those two legends, but then talking about the character herself and how close her character is to her parents. And then right after that, the guy who plays her fiancé, Max, talks about, for him, the complete honor of working with these two legends. That who would ever thought this early on in your career you could work with two icons? And then after we hear from Max, we're going to go to a scene. And in this scene, we have Julia Roberts and George Clooney. They're on the island at this point, and they're talking to the daughter. And then the fiancé shows up on a bike, and all this, or motorcycle, I should say. And then there's a little banter that goes on. But I try to step back and look at this and go, can you imagine being that age? And then you're going, hey, I'm working in this beautiful place, but then I'm working with these two legendary actors. I mean, wow. I mean, how do you match that on your next project? You're like, oh, I'm just working with blah, blah, blah now. I just left this place. Now I'm working with you. And I know it's just me overthinking it. But, when you're that young, then you're like, oh, everything after this is kind of a letdown. Anyway, here's those interviews in the clip.
What I found fun about playing out the scenes with George and Julia is just the family dynamic and the comedic undertones of just little arguments and bickering and but also the real connection that she has with both her dad and her mom. I think it's really beautiful and special.
Oh, it was nerve-wracking. I mean, the whole time it was surreal, because I've known George Clooney's work since I was a little boy, and I never thought I was ever gonna play a movie with him, or even with Julia. So it was surreal, and it was an honor, and I mean, there were pros, so it was super easy for me to play as well, coming from a background where I was just playing Indonesian movies. To be playing a first English movie with George Clooney and Julia Roberts, they kind of made me feel at ease. So yeah, it was wonderful.
Mom, Dad, this is G'day.
Om Swastiastu, Pa. Om swastiastu.
Om swastiastu, G'day.
You learned that to make me look bad.
You don't need my help there.
Mr. and Mrs. Cotton, I welcome you to my country and soon to my home.
Mrs. Cotton is his mother. You can just call me Georgia.
Oh, as you wish, Georgia.
Yeah, I'm good with Mr. Cotton.
Georgia, perhaps I can give you a lift?
Ah, let's do it.
See you there.
Isn't he amazing?
Only if he drops her.
Dad.
Come on, let's go.
Another thing that's really good about this movie is they use the people that live in that area. They actually delve into the culture and use it because it really makes it feel authentic when you're making this kind of movie. You just don't have somebody pretending to be that. So at first, we're going to hear from Kaitlyn Dever, who plays Lily, talking about that, about the character that she plays, why she falls in love with her fiancé, because he does share the culture. And after that, we're going to hear the producer also kind of discussing that same kind of concept about implementing the real life people into this film. And then kind of in a tongue-in-cheek way, right after that, you're going to hear from George and Julia, thanking the people that they were shooting with. And at the very end, there's a little joke.
The Balinese culture is so important to this film, and I think it's really the core of the movie and the Balinese traditions that Max, who plays G'day in the film, talks about and shares with Lily in the movie. I think is kind of like a really like one of many things that makes her fall in love with G'day. It's just the lifestyle and the way they live is so beautiful and standalone, and it's incredibly important to the film.
It was very important to us that we got not only the Balinese characters absolutely right, but the Balinese background absolutely right, and the Balinese culture and rituals absolutely right. So we had cultural advisors both at the script level, but then more importantly on the ground in Australia. And in fact, the guy who plays Max's dad in the film, his name's escaping me right now, he was our cultural advisor as well. So that all of the rituals that you see in the film, and because within the movie, hey, not a spoiler to say there's a wedding, there were a lot of local rituals that needed to be absolutely precise in that. So that was really important.
Well, first of all, I want to say what a pleasure it has been shooting here in Queensland, and thank you to everyone in Queensland for being so welcoming and making this such a wonderful
And the
experience.
nicest, everywhere we go, we meet incredibly kind, generous, magnanimous people that, when a movie production, it's like, and everybody's been super accommodating and kind.
Except for a couple of people, and I think you know who you are.
And I'm just going to be completely honest. There would be nothing I wouldn't do just to be able to sit down with Clooney and just chat with him for a while. I'd sign any NDA thing you want in the whole world. I don't care. Just the stories that he could tell. But he would be just so cool about it. He wouldn't be precious. He would just, talk away, tell stories, whatever. But man, look at all his movies he's done, the TV. We all know him from ER, of course. But he's made some great movies. And I would just love to sit down and talk to him. I mean, it would take hours, but I think we could agree that would be pretty darn cool. But now up next, we're going to hear from Kaitlyn Dever and the director. And she's going to talk about when they were on set, how it was like almost a family. And it was just such a great place to work. And then we're going to hear from the director, and he's going to talk about what the state of the world was when he wrote it and how it is now. And he just wanted to make something light and fun. They could go to the cinema and just have fun and enjoy it all without, like I say earlier in the show, without all the noise. Here's what they have to say.
The most rewarding part of it was, so many things, but I think we really created a family on set, and we were coming together in the middle of a pandemic and making something that was about family and love. And I think that making something like that feels really good. And I think it was all kind of, we all kind of felt that it was something that we're all looking for, and something that it's the kind of movie that we all want to see more of. And I think that when we were on set, we all kind of felt like we were on the same mission to make something really, really special. And I think that all the hard work we put into it was the most rewarding part of it all.
These are desperate times and ghastly times in so many ways. They were when I was writing it, they are now. And so anything you can do to lighten people's load. And also, for me, it was about going back to the cinema as well. No one was going to cinema, obviously, and now they're starting to come back. And to do that, you can give them spectacle, you can be Top Gun, and that's amazing, and, you know, give them big thrills. But there's something about laughter in a large room, do you know what I mean, with lots of other people, that's just a tremendously satisfying thing to engage in and hopefully to create, in my case. And so the thrill, I mean, at the first preview for this, the thrill of sitting with 500 people, listening to them all laugh together, and it had been a while since any of us had that or done that. And it's just a joyous thing, really happy.
Now, speaking of joyous, we're going to have another little featurette for you. Now, in this featurette, it's a shorter one. It has Clooney and Roberts talking a little bit more about their characters, kind of tongue-in-cheek like, about how George's character has always been in love with her, and, you know, all that fun stuff. And right after that, we're going to go to a clip. Now, in the clip, Clooney and Roberts, they're walking on the beach, and they're trying to work on a plan to make the whole wedding not happen, like fate got in the way. So they're trying to explain their stories back and forth. And then Julia Roberts' character realizes, well, she didn't like the plan. She was like, well, why me? And that's one time, oh, hey, he's listening. Well, it was your plan.
Ticket to Paradise is about that George is still in love with me.
You clean up pretty good.
He's never gotten over me.
It's a good thing it's not a competition.
It's a good thing. He never will, and I have a cute French boyfriend. Paul supports everything I do.
That's because everything she does is perfect.
He's exaggerating.
Are you?
I'm really not.
I had to work with her quick because she's not young anymore. And I'm aging as we stand here.
Yes.
Here we go. Which one?
There's only one.
I see two. Oh, yeah.
Happy couple's about to stand up there. The ring bearer brings 2 rings that have been blessed by the hat guy for them to exchange. But if they don't, it messes with the whole right place, right time,
So we
right
steal the
whatever.
rings.
I was about to say that.
But you didn't, so it's my idea.
Okay, well, the ring bearer is G'day's cousin.
Why me?
Well, the hard stuff was always your thing. My thing was taking out the garbage and getting things off of high shelves.
Not that high, really. And flattery won't work.
But you'll do it anyway.
Why?
Because it was your idea.
Now, from the red carpet, we're going to hear an interview with Clooney and Roberts, and they're going to talk about when they were shooting a scene, when they were dancing, just totally freaked out the younger people. And it's just fun hearing them talk about if you want to shut these people up or just make them embarrassed, dance. So then we're going to have a clip for you. And that clip is them playing beer pong with the younger kids. And then, of course, the song kicks in, and then wapa, the dance starts. So that's what goes on here. They're talking about a dance, the scene, they're playing beer pong, and he starts dancing.
Dancing together.
The dancing was
yeah,
fun.
Yeah, good. Because we actually humiliated all the young actors. We literally humiliated. They were literally watching us going, oh my God.
It's the quietest any of them have ever been.
Yeah, it was fun. Anytime you can embarrass, young people, do it.
I got to stretch. I got to stretch.
Give me a chance.
The old days, the old ways.
Here we go.
The old ways. Come on,
got
Can we get something a little more age appropriate for these two? Something old school?
Focus, really good.
Get ready, and...
Oh, no. Dad, please stop doing that.
Oh, yeah!
People are looking. Dad, stop doing that. Oh my God. Everybody's looking. Call it off right now. Please, call it off. Old school moves. Dinosaur moves. I am praying for an asteroid.
Now, coming up next, we have interviews from the red carpet. And I know more than anyone, you come here to listen to them, not me interrupting every time there's a new interview. So I'm just going to tell you who's going to be coming up. So you can hear them talk and not me. So first, we're going to hear from George and Julia, then Kaitlyn Dever, and then Lucas Bravo, all talking from the world premiere.
Because the company, Working Title, that produced this film, gives a free car to anyone who goes to see the film.
Do you know the trouble you're
Free
causing
car.
right now?
You buy your ticket and then you take it to any car dealership anywhere in England.
Because we did our best to make people laugh and have a good time at the movies.
And you get a free car.
And you have to buy your own ticket and buy your own dinner and get in your own car and drive yourself home, hopefully smiling.
It feels incredible to be here for the world premiere in London. I feel so grateful to be able to celebrate our movie here, and I haven't been back in a while, and it's always good to come to London, but especially with our whole cast, it's really nice to be able to celebrate tonight. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. I still am shocked by it. I was coming from the airport and I saw a billboard of Ticket to Paradise. And it's still shocking to me that I am in this movie with them and that they play my parents. So it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. So many things. I think that in terms of my character, she's someone that really puts a lot of expectations on herself and pressure, and takes this trip to Bali and realizes and meets this man named G'day and realizes that maybe she was looking at life maybe the wrong way, or just was able to change her perspective because of him, and she discovers a lot about herself, which I really loved a lot. Being on an island with George Clooney and Julia Roberts, I mean there's so many things. It was so much fun. I can't even tell you how much of a dream this movie was. Fans can expect to really just have the best time, have a really, really good laugh, to just have a lot of fun and maybe a little bit of emotion, which is a good thing. And I think this is a movie that everybody's really been needing for a while.
It feels amazing. I love London. It's a city that gets me excited every time I'm here, and also it's my first time I'm discovering the movie, so I'm just I'm double excited. I just don't know what to expect. The other cast members saw it and told me it was great, so I'm just here to enjoy sit back and enjoy the ride. It's a fun character because he's in his 30s, and he managed to arrive in his 30s and keep the same level of innocence, and he's so naive, and you don't get that a lot when you get to that age, and he just operates out of love, and it's a fun character to play. I just think it's important to tell beautiful stories, escapism, entertainment. We had a couple rough years, and people need to forget their obligations and have a good time. She's a dream. She's just she made the set such a safe place for me to try things, to improvise. She provided so much guidance, and she's so fun. Whenever I was trying things and improvising, she would follow me in my little nuances, and she just at your service in a scene, and she's a class act. I think it's not part of the film, but it's part of it. It's the New Year's Eve in Byron Bay. We were in Australia. I was discovering Australia, and we were there for Christmas and New Year's Eve because of the circumstances, and I just went to Byron Bay and had this amazing New Year's Eve with people, with Australians, and fell in love with the place.
Well, you just heard from the red carpet world premiere, Kaitlyn Dever, who plays Lily, and then Lucas Bravo, who plays Paul. Now up next, we're going to have a little featurette. And what that is, the studios, they give us a pre-packaged interview package. And it's not me interviewing these people, it's just when they were there, they record the stuff and they give it to people like me. You're going to hear interviews with Julia Roberts, George Clooney, and the rest of the cast, just talking about the whole experience, working together. It's just one of those cool pre-packaged world premiere footages. And if you want to watch this stuff, you could go to the website I give you later on, so you can watch these interviews, scenes, and everything that goes along with these featurettes. But here's the featurette from the world premiere, Ticket to Paradise.
Welcome to the world premiere of Ticket to Paradise.
I think it's better not to name whatever it is that we have.
We called each other up and it was like, if you'll do it, I'll do it.
and that's the fun part.
I want them to walk out with their cheeks hurting. Yeah.
I want them to take
Okay.
a free car out.
George,
Free car.
stop offering free cars to people that go see this movie.
So they're just really great friends, and they just laugh a lot. And my main job was trying to stop them laughing long enough to actually shoot something.
The two of them together is magic. Truly, truly. And in the movie, it's magic.
Finally, we're like showing it to the world, you know. So yeah, it's surreal.
Well, it's just so fun to play because you can go like full on with them.
It was just so incredible and surreal. I had to pinch myself that this was my job.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I just see in my mind's eye that set, you're in paradise. You're surrounded by all these stars. You know it was a fun set and just people having fun. And you can just feel that when they're talking there. And it's so, and that kind of stuff shows up when they're acting. Because especially with Julia Roberts and George Clooney, they're such great friends. Well, at least it seems like it to people like us on the outside. But it really does seem like they're buddies. Because they're always giving each other a hard time. And they're like brother and sister, or whatever you want to call them. And, and it's so funny in that little featurette, Julia Roberts says something like that. She's like, I don't even know if I can define what we have. And I think a lot of us out there have those kind of friendships, and we're lucky that we have them, where you could be just completely free, honest, open with somebody, and without any worry or any games or anything like that. Sometimes when you have a friend like that, you just got to thank your lucky stars. And I think that's what they have. And I can't even imagine how hard it is in that world, Hollywood and all that other stuff, where you can have a friend. Because I imagine once you make it big, everybody you've ever known or everybody you meet after, how could you not think that they want something from you? Every conversation, you probably just you look at somebody and go, what's your game? What's your angle? But with them, they're both mega, they have nothing left to prove kind of stars. And they're just fun. And I bet you that's so relaxing to be around somebody who they're not wanting anything from you. You could just have fun. And that's what I get from all those interviews. It just sounds like it was just a blast to be on set. Now, I hope you enjoyed our in-depth look at Ticket to Paradise. Now, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, any way to improve the show, please let me know. cinemajudge@hotmail.com. Instagram, cinemajudge. Twitter, cinemajudge. Whatever you want to do, I would love to hear your feedback because I can't grow if I don't know. So anything you'd like to say, how can I improve this show, let me know. You know what time it is now, guys. It's shout-out time. This is the time when I give a shout-out to everybody who listened to the last episode. But if you did listen to the back catalog, don't think for 1 second I don't care. It's just a lot harder to find out who, what, when, where, all that kind of stuff. It's a past catalog. It will show up, but I might not. So if you don't hear me shout out, basically what I'm saying, if you listen to a show from 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, and you're like, hey, he didn't mention me. I see a number up there, but I don't know where you're necessarily listening from. But I love seeing that because sometimes I look and I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on today? Hey, it looks like somebody listened to an episode from, 3 months ago or whatever. You're like, sweet. That's so cool to hear. So thank you. And I always tell people, that's great because every listen counts. Because every time somebody listens, it kind of moves me up the rankings. So maybe somebody who's never heard of the show might see it and go, hey, I'll give that a shot. And that's all because of you guys who listen regularly. And then you put me on the charts and we get discovered that way a lot better. People start realizing, hey, this might be a fun show. So every time you listen, it pays off. So for all of you, all around the world, I hope my voice finds you well. For all of you who listen in your car, at work, at home, doing errands, and some of you use it as a nightlight. You just push play and you let it roll throughout the evening. Kind of like, I remember as a kid, I used to play the radio all the time. And it's the same principle. So for those who do that, I am so indebted to you. I appreciate that I could be there with you throughout the night. Wherever, whenever, or whatever you're doing, this is for you. All my listeners, the multiple listeners from United States, Canada, Germany, Italy, United Kingdom, Egypt, Denmark, Brazil, Ireland, Slovenia, Sweden, Belgium, Singapore, Switzerland, Israel, China, Cambodia, Norway, New Zealand. Every one of you, thanks a million for taking time out of your busy life to listen to this show. Because I know how busy it is out there, but I really appreciate that. Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, St. Louis, Missouri, Holyoke, Mass, Frankfurt AM, Maine, Hess, Toronto, Ontario, Vancouver, British Columbia, Chicago, Illinois, Littleton, Colorado, Farmington, Minnesota, Cottage Grove, Minnesota, Copenhagen, Pasadena, California, Fargo, North Dakota, Ontario, Duluth, Minnesota, Virginia, Grand Rapids, Michigan, London, England, New Hampshire, Dublin, Portland, Oregon, Superior, Wisconsin, Illinois, Houston, Texas, Roberts, Wisconsin, Salt Lake City, Utah, Milan, South St. Paul, Orlando, Florida, Giza, Savannah, Georgia, Wichita, Kansas, Zurich, Burnsville, Minnesota, Los Angeles, California, Northfield, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Fenton, Michigan, Rugby, Warwickshire, Palm Springs, California, New York, Tel Aviv, Riverside, California, Singapore, Quebec, North Carolina, Kent, Ohio, Brooklyn, New York, Mason City, Iowa. And I could go on, guys. Every solitary one of you. When that number clicks on and says somebody listened, I do a happy dance. I kid you not. I don't care where I am. I look at that. I do a little boogie woogie in my chair. It's embarrassing, but it's true because of you. But now it's the bourbon shout out. This week it goes out to 3 people. Julia, Shelley, and Paul. Julia and Shelley, you two are incredible. You guys work so hard. You go out of your way. Kind, intelligent, informative. So Julia and Shelley, to you two, cheers. But I'm not going to forget about Paul. Paul's kind of a team player with Julia. So both those guys together may make the perfect team. To you, Paul, cheers. Now, most of you know this, and I said this earlier in the show, this is also a TV version. And on the TV version, obviously, you can watch all the scenes, footage, and everything that comes like with the featurettes, because they throw a lot of on-the-set footage there, and it's really kind of fun. So if you're interested in watching the TV version of this, you can watch anytime you want, on demand. If you go to Bloomington, Minnesota's webpage, or if you go to bit, as in bit.ly, /CinemaJudge, so bit.ly, /CinemaJudge, a whole bunch of shows will show up on demand, including this one. Now, what separates the TV version from this, you don't see or hear me at all. It's strictly interviews and everything that comes with the show. But when I'm making that show, I'm not doing any talking or anything like that. I usually have tunes cranked in the background. It's my happy place. Me, the computer, and an empty screen, and I have to try to fill it with information to try to say, this is what this movie's about. And I just love doing that. And it's great because I can listen to tunes. And my 2 major loves growing up were movies and music. And when I could combine them into one event, dare I say, this is my little personal slice of heaven. So on this week, these last couple weeks have been kind of weird. I've been doing a lot of editing in different spots because of all this other stuff going on. But I was able to throw down a little music when I was playing or making this episode. And I just went to some good old ones that, just really are great for me to listen to. I first threw down The Essential Journey. That one's just littered with just classics. Every Journey tune you can think of, just incredible. And I think even within that greatest hits, I've even added a few more just because, I like this one, just because it it's not on there. But I threw down Essential Journey, but also Jimmy Buffett's greatest hits, also with a few more of my stuff that I added on myself. Those two together made this for a great editing session. So that's what I was listening to when I was doing the TV version of this, which becomes this. Well, that is it. My glass waits. I'm thirsty. So cheers to you and to the movies. So until next time, be well, be good, and I'm gone. I'm Jeff. Thanks for listening to The Cinema Judge.